You probably know the exact feeling. You smile, you nod, you answer messages and assure everyone that everything is fine, while underneath it all, you are silently collapsing. Your entire day is spent managing obligations and performing a highly specific role. You keep up the appearance of having it all together, but the constant, grueling effort to maintain that performance leaves you feeling completely hollow inside. Observe how often you sacrifice your own boundaries just to keep the peace. You may find that this chronic need to be agreeable, once considered a sign of maturity, is actually feeding the very anxiety you're trying to hide. Your outward goodness is a highly engineered social mask hiding an existential void. Today, we are going to use the psychology of Carl Jung to tear it off. From childhood, you learned that certain parts of your natural personality were inconvenient. You were taught that setting boundaries was selfish, that feeling envy was bad, and that expressing anger was unacceptable. To survive emotionally, your mind built a defense mechanism. You constructed a persona, a social mask of politeness and control designed specifically to hide those messy traits from the world. What started as a necessary shield in childhood is now a closed behavioral loop. It traps you in artificial interactions, restricts your choices, and slowly dismantles your adulthood. Your conscious mind is run by a very fragile ego, and it lies to you constantly to protect its safe narrative of perfection. It tells you that swallowing your frustration is being the bigger person, and that your quiet endurance makes you strong and independent. This model shows how that dynamic actually functions. Your ego maintains its sense of worth by outsourcing it to the opinions of others, draining its own internal reserves just to keep the loop active. To maintain this illusion of being entirely good, the ego forces you to amputate vital parts of your own identity, permanently discarding them so the approval loop never breaks. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung discovered a terrifying reality about this process. The parts of yourself that your consciousness rejects do not simply disappear. If we look at a cross-section of the psyche, we can see where they actually go. Those amputated traits are forcefully hidden in the unconscious basement of the mind, forming what Jung called the shadow. Every suppressed impulse, boundary, and fear lives here. Every single time you prioritize your good person image over your actual truth, you deposit more raw, volatile material into this hidden zone. By striving for outward perfection, you are inadvertently feeding a highly pressurized monster right beneath the floorboards of your own consciousness. The ultimate irony of the shadow is that whatever you reject eventually controls you. It leaks into your daily life in ways you cannot comprehend. Jung argued that moments of self-sabotage or panicking over tiny mistakes are the shadow violently breaching containment, forcing its way into your conscious life because it can no longer be ignored. When you continuously silence your mind, your biology steps in to carry the load. The physical body takes over the burden of processing the pressure. When you suppress a natural response like anger, your body still generates the physiological stress of that emotion. Because you never let it out, your nervous system remains trapped in a state of high alert, reacting to a predator that exists entirely within your own psyche. If you ignore it long enough, the psyche will forcefully and painfully sabotage your life to restore its own equilibrium. Your ego absolutely hates the idea of changing this dynamic. Giving up the mask requires admitting that your lifelong pursuit of goodness was nothing more than a terrified survival mechanism. Jung proposed a specific clinical cure for this condition. He called it individuation. Individuation is the difficult, often painful process of actively reconnecting with the darkness, the anger, and the shame you spent your entire life trying to run away from. To break free from the trap of collective convenience, you have to look directly at your shadow. You strip away its control by finally acknowledging it exists. The pain and anxiety you feel right now are not signs of weakness. They are a brutal, urgent alarm system from your soul, begging you to stop playing a character. True emotional strength does not come from building a thicker protective shell. It comes from the total integration of both your darkest parts and your lightest traits. By integrating the parts of yourself you once feared, you develop an internal stability that doesn't rely on the mask, making you far less vulnerable to the external pressures that used to shatter your peace. Make a psychological commitment to yourself right now. Go down to the comments and type, "I choose to be whole, not perfect." If this video shattered the illusion you've been living in, hit subscribe. And to learn exactly how to do shadow work and integrate those hidden parts, click the video on your screen right now. I'll see you there.